Hello, good evening. It's Saturday. My name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again, and this is the World Cup 2023 match review. The tournament's up and running. England are up and running, and it was a victory. Maybe not the most convincing of performances and convincing of victories, but in tournament football, win is all that matters. So we're going to talk about the game. We're going to look back on the match this morning. We're also going to look at the tournament so far, say what we make of it all, and also as well, obviously, we'll look at how the Arsenal women players have got on so far. A little bit of a mixed bag, maybe in some ways, but anyway, lots to get through. So we're going to get cracking at the other side of this.
Lionesses, you come so far, but don't forget who you are. Your roots are yours, but also ours. Giving hope to rising stars. Lionesses, here we go. 2-0.
So that's our new introduction there. Pete Drake, of course, does all our music on the channel these days. And actually, there's a bit of a surprise for you. Pete Drake will be coming on the show in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll actually get to meet him as well. He's going to come on, obviously, talk about the England women, talk about his music as well. So that's going to be good. So we're looking forward to that. But, of course, for tonight, we have got our usual guests with us. Andreas, good to see you. How are you?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Tonight, you've got a different background tonight.
Yeah, different background because I'm not at home. I'm currently at Dublin, in Ireland, but there's nothing I would like to miss. So I did everything possible to be in the show with my iPhone, my speakers, and yeah, I hope it will work.
Well, we can hear you loud and clear, so it's obviously working at the moment, which is good. And good that you've taken time out of your holiday to come and speak to us. And, of course, Amar as well is actually on time for once. Is that because we were a bit later starting tonight, Amar? Is that why you made it? Oh, he's on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Oh. I've got to sort his sound anyway. You'll be back, I'm sure, very, very shortly. And we have got Terry in the chat. He says, good evening, Richard, and evening to Andreas and Amar. Well, it's only Andreas at the moment. Amar's having a few technical issues with his speakers or his microphone at the moment, but I'm sure he'll be back very shortly. I mean, we may as well get cracking, of course. Obviously, this morning, the England game, not quite what we were maybe expecting when we previewed it last week. We were maybe expecting a slightly more comfortable victory, wasn't we? But ultimately, in the first game, it's about 3 points, isn't it? And that's what we got in the end. Not the best performance, but the result is what matters, isn't it? What did you make of it, Andreas? And first of all, the team lineup, because there was one or two surprises, wasn't there? Maybe in that lineup, actually.
No, not big surprises. In tournament football, the only thing that counts is the result, and we got 3 points. We started with 3 points in the tournament, just like last year. The Euros, we won 1-0 against Austria, now 1-0 against Haiti. Yeah, it was not the best performance, and some players were not at their best level. I think, as I said before, Ella Toon is she's in a down for months now, and I wouldn't start her again. Well, it was a deserved win, although it was a bit of luck in the end. And I only saw extended highlights. But after such a match, if you have to say thanks to your goalkeeper, or the goalkeeper nearly was the player of the match against an opponent which you should beat easily, then this says enough. And we have to thank Mary Earps for really 2 big saves in the end. The last one with her leg was just fantastic reaction. Of course, at this time, we should have been in the leading 3-0, 4-0, because there were chances. But it's, the same problem we had in the last friendlies. We create chances, but we don't score goals. We needed a penalty, a repeated penalty. So, in the end, the luck was on our side, and let's say we've got the 3 points, and that's what counts.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I say in a tournament, especially your first game, it's important to win, and especially as we were playing Haiti, you know, I think maybe we're a bit surprised at how good they played, actually, what a good side they were. So it made it even better, perhaps, that we did get the victory. We've got Amar back now. Have you got your microphone working? No, you haven't. We still can't hear you. We still can't hear you. I don't know if you're on mute or what you've done, but we can't hear you still. No, we still can't hear you. No. Oh, Amar's got to fix his problem. I'm sure. We're dying to hear what Amar's got to say about the game, actually. But yeah, I mean, it was. I think Haiti. I wouldn't say we underestimated Haiti, the team. I think maybe we did as fans. Perhaps we perhaps underestimated them slightly. We said the other night we didn't know too much about them. They were very physical, wasn't they? They got amongst us. They made it difficult for us at times. But yeah, you're right. In the second half in particular, we created a lot of chances. And we should have won the game a little bit more convincingly than we did. But yeah, ultimately, you're right. We had to thank our goalkeeper for making a couple of really good saves. Because if we'd conceded a goal and ended up with a draw in that game, it would have made even just qualifying out of the group could have been difficult, wouldn't it? Yeah. Realistically, it would put us under real pressure. So yeah, it went our way in the end. But yeah, not the best performance. But as you rightly say there, I mean, a year ago in the opening game of the Euros against Austria, we were far from convincing in that game, were we? You know, we got a first half goal and we won the game. But yeah, it wasn't the best performance, and we grew from that, didn't we, into the tournament, and we got better and better and better as we went along. And let's hope we can. But my worry, I don't know whether you feel the same, Andreas, but my worry is with this team at the moment, they're not gelling together, are they? And I know we've got key players missing. We spoke about that, but the team don't look as though they're gelling, and that's a worry. Now, when the tournament's here, we should be at a stage now where we are looking much more of a team than what we are. We do seem a little bit disjointed still, don't we?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I think the atmosphere in the team is very good, and you can't say that one is not fighting for the other. So I think every player does her best, and they are fighting for each other. They are running for each other, but we have too many players that have problems at the moment. Even Lucy Bronze had her problems. She lost this one ball. And Haiti had a big chance from this. And of course, Jess Carter is no Leah Williamson. We knew this before. And yeah, we also miss Leah. I think in those moments when Kira is covered very well and can't do anything for creating our game plan. So we miss Leah with her opening balls, with her long balls, the passes. But we can't come back and say, oh, we miss Leah, we miss Bess, we miss Fran. We don't have them, and we must make the best out of the squad we have. Is Jess Carter the right centre-back partner for Millie Bright? I don't know. As I said before in our last week's show, why not giving Lotta a chance? I think she can't do it worse than Jess Carter. And then Tony is, once again, she is not in her best performance for months now. And so on number 10, you need a creative player, like Frank Kirby is. You need someone who sees the spaces, who opens with passes situations, and Ella Toon doesn't. In first half, Georgia Stanway had her problems. She grew in the match. I think the penalty gave her self-confidence. She was better in second half, although she was not player of the match for me from what I saw. I would have given this award to Mary Earps. A word to Alessia Uso. I think she had a good match. She had 3 very good chances, and you can't say that she made something wrong. No, the Haiti goalkeeper reactions were fantastic, and the header from her, the goalkeeper, was with one one hand on the ball. Yeah, so Alessia had a good match, and also Rachel Daly, when she came in, was good or was okay. What we are lacking is just scoring goals, and maybe from outside, Lauren Ham, Chloe Kelly, both didn't have their best matches as far as I saw. But once again, the team seems to lack self-confidence or was nervous in the first match, and I hope this will be better. It must be better against Denmark. We need at least 6 points or maybe 7 points to go through the group stage, and Denmark was lucky with this late winner against China. So losing against Denmark would mean we will not win the group. So there is pressure for the next match. But let's believe in the girls, and let's hope that this first win will strengthen their self-confidence. It's necessary, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is a massively important game against Denmark now, them having won that game. I mean, I was hoping for a draw. It almost was a draw, but in the end, Denmark have won. So now we have to get something from that game. I mean, a draw wouldn't be a disaster necessarily, but obviously we need to win, ideally, don't we? Terry says things aren't good when your keeper is the best player on the pitch. No, it's not. When it's a team like Haiti, absolutely right. I mean, you would want your attacking players to be the best players on the pitch because you won the game comfortably, and that wasn't how it played out. Terry also said that our crosses and passing was diabolical, not as good as it needs to be, but that's been a problem for a while now, isn't it? It's not just in this game. You look at recent games where the problems have been, haven't they? Our balls into the box haven't been the quality that we need, and our passing as well hasn't been always great. So yeah, these are ongoing problems, aren't they? That are repeating themselves and not improving. And it is an issue now. We're in the World Cup. We don't have time to get it wrong. We've got to get it all right now in the next few games, or we'll be coming home very, very early, which is not what we want. So it's something we've got to look at there. Terry there says, I disagree, Andreas. Our 2 centre-backs was fantastic because Emma Hayes said so. Well, yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 2 centre-back. It's funny, isn't it? Because it seems as though Serena has picked those two because obviously they've got a club understanding, and yet he never picked Leah Williamson with Lotte Wubben-Moy when they have a club understanding. And also as well now, Lotte Wubben-Moy is probably the nearest we have in the squad to Leah Williamson in the fact that she can bring the ball out of defence. She's got a nice long pass on her as well to start attack like Leah does. And it seems strange that she's not getting the opportunity when she's the most natural player in the squad to fill that role. She's not as good as Leah Williamson, of course not. Nobody is, but she's the most natural successor in the squad that we have. Yeah. And she understands that role because she played with Leah for so long, and she knows her game and she can fill that role. She filled it for Arsenal last season when we needed her because Leah was injured. For various different points of last season, a lot of stepped in and did that job. So it seems strange. I don't quite know what's happened there. It seems as though a lot of Wubben-Moy is only there because of her activities off the pitch and the way that she's promoting women's football in schools, all that kind of stuff. Is that the only reason she's in the squad? Because she's certainly not in the squad to play. She wasn't in the Euros. She never even comes on any time for England. I don't understand it. It makes no sense. But, we do trust Serena. We're not going to question her too much because she doesn't get too much wrong. But that is something that, I don't know, could be improved. We're going to try again with Amar. He is back. Has he got his sound?
I think it's sorted now. I think you can hear me now.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Finally, yeah, I was just my audio. I had 4 different audio options. I tell you what was happening. I was checking my mic, and then I finally got the right audio option in the settings, and I finally saw some green light. So that was good.
Oh, brilliant. Good to see.
Finally,
Good.
finally.
So obviously, Amar, we've been talking obviously about the performance this morning, which, wasn't the greatest England performance ever. Certainly not as good as we expect from this Lionesses team, but we got the victory. What did you make of it overall? Because it was disjointed at times, I felt.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch the first 15, 20 minutes. I did miss the start. I know, I was just getting ready. I was going all that usual with me. I just did miss the start of about 15, 20 minutes. I've expected us, to maybe win a bit more comfortably. But then again, it was a win is a win. I know it was, as you've been saying, it was a bit reminiscent of the opening game of the Euros last summer against Austria. They did test us where we came through. We went at our best. And, it would be good if we could do something similar and improve as the tournament goes on. But I have to give a lot of credit. I know a lot of people will say, we were poor, we're disjointed, we got in behind them. But you have to give a lot of credit to Haiti as well. I thought they were really, for a debutant, I was really impressed by them, the way they were closing down. They were causing us to be a bit not fluent in possession, and yeah, they did create some fantastic chances. They've been more clinical. Who knows? They might even come up with a shot victory in that game. We were, as you've been also been saying, thankful to the excellence of Mary Earps, who made two really top saves, showing why she's the, I don't know, they were saying in commentary, I think she's the top ranked goalkeeper in the world now or something, isn't she? I could be wrong, obviously, but yeah, they showed why she's so integral to us going forward. But no, we definitely need to be better not only creating chances. I struggled other than in the second half when Alessia Russo had the header tipped over by their goalkeeper, who also was very, very good today. They struggled to think we had any clear-cut chances. That Millie Bright shot over from a corner. So, yeah, we do need to be a bit more creative on that front. And, yeah, I know some players have been struggling. I was surprised that Rachel Daly didn't start the game, considering the season she's had for Aston Villa. So, yeah, maybe that's an option for Serena going to the next game. I know Ella too, everyone's saying she's been struggling a little bit, but yeah, after it's not easy when I don't know whether it's to do with the fact that her best mate left for a rival club or what, but yeah, it's something for Serena to consider going forward. But we'll take the win and we move on, and yeah, Denmark will be a far tougher test in the next game for sure.
It will be a different sort of test, I think. Yeah, I mean, it will be a different test indeed, and it's a game that now, as we've said, is so important now, isn't it, in the overall scheme of the group? Because even China's not going to be easy when we have to play them in the last game. We don't really want to go into that game needing a win to go through, do we? So we want to already have it sealed before then, if we can. And it's a massive game on Friday coming up now, isn't it, against Denmark? But yeah, I mean, there does seem to be too many players at this moment. I mean, we've mentioned the Austria game last year in the Euros, and although there are a lot of comparisons, and we want to try and look at the positives from that, but I do feel as though this year there's too many players that are out of form. Last year, although we struggled in the Austria game a little bit, the players came into it in good form. Even during the game, you could see they were on top of their game. Whereas today, as we mentioned, Ella Toon is nowhere near at her best at all. She hasn't been for a long time. Defensively, it's just Carter the answer. I'm not saying just Carter had a poor game necessarily today, but she can't do when you've got Millie Bright, who's a very, very good defender. There's one of the best in the world, isn't she? She's a very, very strong defender, but she isn't the best with the ball, is she? And her distribution of the ball doesn't have the same impact as Aaliyah Williamson does. And when you've got Millie Bright there, you need someone next to her who can add that to the game. And Jess Carter she's a good one-on-one defender. She's strong, but again, she doesn't have that ability on the ball that we need in that position. And I think that's the problem. I would have played Alex Greenwood there personally, because she has got that ability on the ball a little bit more, I think, personally. But anyway, that's again, it's Serena's options, isn't it? It's Serena's. She knows the players. She's worked with them a long time now. She knows who's best for what she wants, and we have got to put our trust in her. But yeah, in the Euros, she didn't make one change in the starting 11 in any of the games all the way through, and that to me said the form of those players and the trust that Serena had in them. I can see against Denmark, I can see there being 2 or 3 changes to the starting team, which to me is what needs to happen, but it's also a worrying sign compared to what happened in the past when it was such a settled team. I mean, Andreas, what changes would you make then for Denmark, or would you make any at all? Would you stick with the same team as Serena does like to do, or would you make a few changes? Can you see there being some changes?
We know that Serena doesn't like to change her team, and she trusts the starting 11. I don't know. I would, of course, change and bring Lauren James in on number 10 position for Ella Toon. Just try. It can't be worse. It's worth a try. And in defense, it's difficult to say. I mean, as you said, Jess Carter didn't have a bad match, but they are both not. How can you describe it? This one situation when Lucy Bronze lost the ball at the outside line, and Haiti had this counter attack. This was brilliantly done by Haiti, but our 2 central defenders, they must avoid this situation. They must they must be faster in their mind and react faster, so that this situation doesn't develop for Haiti. And so, yeah, I would make another change in defense and try Willie Bright with Lotta Rubenmoy. But I don't see Serena doing this. She will not make a change in defense. Maybe she makes the change in midfield. And I see no reason to bring Rachel Daly for Alessia Russo because, as I said, in my opinion, Alessia had a good match. She had 3 clear chances, and the Haiti goalkeeper reacted very, very good. So, I would give Alessia another chance, and maybe the crosses should be better timed from Lauren Hemp and from Chloe Kelly, because we know that Alessia is very strong in the air. We know from Denmark, Simone Boye is their central defender. She's not. She has not the best pace, so there's a chance if Alessia makes the runs, or if maybe Rachel comes in when the Danish defenders are a bit tired, that might be a chance. Maybe we're also missing Ellen White. She didn't score. She didn't score many goals, but she made runs or movements that made her opponents tired. And then Alessia came in with fresh legs. Maybe this would be an opportunity to bring Rachel Daly against Denmark after 60 minutes or so, when the Danish defenders get tired. It will be a tough match, and as of now, I would say if we draw, it's okay. We are not allowed to lose, so we need at least 1 point. If we win, then maybe we'll get a run in the tournament. So let's hope we can get another win, and let's hope we can score from a normal playing situation, not only by penalty.
Yeah, exactly. And it's penalty had to be taken twice as well. We missed the first one, so that was a bit of a worry, wasn't it? Terry says we only seem to score goals en masse when Amar's at the game.
What?
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, what we need to do, we need to do a GoFundMe fund to get Amar to Australia, so we can attend the next couple of games. We win some comfortable wins, and then we can maybe go through. David says England not really played well since first half. True, yeah, that is actually true, isn't it? It's almost as though at half time against Brazil, someone pulled out the plug, and since then England have struggled. We struggled to score goals. We look very disjointed. Too many players are off. It does seem to be since half time against Brazil, because in that first half against Brazil, we played really well, didn't we?
Yes,
we were winning, and we played well. But since then, it's gone. The performances have dropped off very, very dramatically, actually, since then, haven't they? And they've not picked up again. And that we need to pick them up again somehow. We've got to raise our game, and it's difficult. Terry says Toon has taken over playing rubbish from Kirby.
That's a bit harsh on Fran.
No.
That's a bit harsh on Fran.
When Kirby played rubbish, she did something in the game. She created a goal or scored a goal, and she did something important in the game, didn't she? Whereas, Ella Toon, if she's not playing well, she does nothing really. She doesn't contribute anything to the game. I didn't think Kirby was fantastic in the Euros, but she had a big contribution to a lot of games, didn't she, with goals and assists, stuff like that. She was an important player, and Tooney did as well in the Euros. When she came on, she had that impact, but she's not having that impact now. And it's all very well, players aren't always going to be at their best in every single game all the time. But if they're not at their best, but they're still contributing something positive to the team, it doesn't matter too much. But Tooney's not doing that, is she? Whereas at least I thought Kirby, I mean, she's not my favourite player, Kirby, I've got to be honest, but she did have a big impact in the Euros. There's no doubt about that when she played. So, and we're missing her with somebody like that in that team who can create those opportunities. So, it is something that we need to look at there. Terry says there, to be fair, I felt sorry for Russo. Not one decent pass to her in the first half, but didn't really improve that much in the second either. I thought Russo didn't have a bad second half. Well, I mean, Andreas is right. She had 3 good chances, and 2 of those she created for herself. It wasn't like chances were created for her. It was herself that mainly created the opportunities, wasn't it? In a lot of ways, her work rate and her movement. And there was one cross, obviously, for the header, but that's an issue. We're not getting the best out of her. We didn't today. We haven't done in recent games, I didn't feel. So it's something we need to look at to try to get more from it of Russo. Because I agree, I didn't think she was bad at all. I thought she played quite well. But she didn't get any real service, did she? She was fighting on scraps and trying to work her own opportunities in the game. And that's all she had to go off. And, she did as well as she could do. That's pretty much all you could hope for, really, from her. It would have been nice if she could have got one of them in the goal. She came close, but it will come for if she stays in the team. I think she will score some goals. It's just we need to find a way to get the best out of them, because maybe she's a different type of forward to Ellen White, isn't she? She plays a different way, and we have to adapt around that. Obviously, I'll still say Beth Mead's the big miss, really, because that's the sort of game today you could see Beth Mead have got in a goal or two, and we'd have won that game more comfortably, and everyone's happy. So, I mean, Amar, going into Denmark, then, do you think we'll make changes? Obviously, Serena doesn't generally, and do you think we need to make some changes to that team to face Denmark, because it wasn't a very fluid performance today?
No, yeah, it was far from fluid, yeah. But I agree. There's been a little bit of a calm down since the game. We haven't scored a goal from open play since Ella Toon's goal at Wembley every year. We've failed to score against Australia, failed to score in the behind closed doors friendly against Canada, and also against Australia. Okay, yeah, there was a bit of against Australia as well, and then he won. Sorry?
And Portugal.
Oh, and Portugal, yes, and Portugal. Yeah, it is a little bit concerning when you think our depth of squad. Then, yeah, there's no doubt Beth is a big miss. She could have definitely the pace she brings down that left wing, and another, and Fran as well. Even though you have to think, I know people say, I think it's a bit harsh for Terry to say, not disagreeing with him in any way, but I think when you think all the injuries she's been through, she's had problems with her breathing, she's had knees everywhere, and now she's had another injury that ruled her out this. She's had horrendous luck with injuries. And we saw how well she played last summer at the Euros as well. So, but with regards to changes, I know Denmark weren't that convincing. They found a way to win. I mean, with regards, China I thought played well, a bit unlucky. I was in there and took a set piece. They weren't that convincing either, to be fair. They had only shot on target from they scored. Well, the goalkeeper was a bit unlucky because it could have been it was a very tight offside. I saw as well, but I think she was just on. Yeah. It was very, very tight, but yeah, they found a way to win. And but in that, I think there's a case maybe with regards to changes for the Denmark game. I think there's even a case that maybe Jordan Nobbs could be brought in to the midfield. Even how you saw how well she played in the second half of the season with Villa, and how well she played past. And she hasn't had much luck when it comes to major tournaments either. So there's maybe a case to maybe even give her a start on against Denmark because of what she brings as well in many ways. And Daly up front as well, maybe instead of Russo, or on the wing, maybe you could put who else? I don't know, or somebody instead of Jess Carter. But I think maybe 2 or 3 changes may be necessary if we're looking at adding a bit more creativity for that game. But I mean, it's down to Serena at the end, and maybe she'll give those players another chance. But it remains to be seen, but I think there's a good argument for 2, possibly even 3 changes to be made.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I personally would make at least 2 changes to the team. I think, Ella Toon, I think we know is the one we've spoken about. Maybe leave her out of the team, and I would change Jess Carter. Not that she did anything wrong particularly, but I just think we kept a clean sheet, and I can't see her changing the defence, if I'm honest. I don't think Serena will change that defence. I think maybe Tooney, and we could, maybe one of the front 3, maybe Chloe Kelly maybe comes out, Lauren James maybe goes in. I don't know if that's what we might look at. I'd like to see maybe Katie Robinson not start the game, but get some minutes. She can, she can put some crosses into the box. She's got a good delivery on her. I wouldn't say start. And the same with Jordan Nobbs. I wouldn't necessarily expect Jordan to start the game just because she's not played enough international football. But she's another player that could come into the game. And I'm surprised today, actually. Serena, there's only 2 substitutions were made, weren't they, in the end? And that's, I'm surprised she didn't maybe make a couple more.
That's right. That's correct. Daly and James.
Exactly. Yeah, so I was a bit surprised there wasn't maybe, I'm surprised Tooney got a full game, for example. I'm surprised there wasn't maybe 2 or 3 other substitutions made to freshen it up a little bit. But, Serena doesn't like to change things, does she? She's got a set way. And, let's see what happens on Friday. There's nothing else that we can do. We're in our hands, aren't we? We'll have to see what team she picked. But whatever starting 11 is, if it's the same team, we just need to play better. than we did today,
Yes.
and then we have done in the last
Much
4 or 5
better,
games. We need to play better than that if we're
Much
going to get the result against Denmark, who aren't a bad side. They've got some very good players. And
No.
they didn't play that well today either, did they? To be fair, Denmark wasn't brilliant. I watched all of that game, and
I watched that game as well. It was
China deserved a draw, I thought, and that would have probably been a fair result over the 90 minutes. And unfortunately, Denmark got that goal at the end, which was a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. I thought Katarina Cole played pretty well when she was on in that game.
Yeah, she was decent enough. Yeah, decent.
She had a good performance. Which
the Gunners have been doing pretty well so far, I would say.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about our girls in a minute, actually. Terry says, good shout, Amar and Knobs. Yeah, it is. Well, I'd like to see her get minutes, but I'm not sure that she's going to start the game. I just can't see Serena doing that and playing as a starting a game for England for however long it is. I don't even know last time she started a game for England. So I can't see that happening, but let's hope she can maybe get some minutes in a tournament at some stage, because she deserves it, don't she? Because she's had so many injury problems at previous tournaments and she's missed out, so it would be nice for her to get some time on there. But I mean, obviously we know Jordan's not an Arsenal player anymore, but I do want to look at the Arsenal players so far. Obviously, 3 days of the World Cup we've had, haven't we, so far? It's been I mean, actually, before we get into the Arsenal players, what have we made of the World Cup so far? Obviously, there's been a lot of tight games, really. There hasn't been a lot of goals, really, has there? I know Japan scored 5 today in the end, didn't they? But there hasn't been many goals. All the games have been fairly physical games. There's not a lot of goals going in, a lot of penalties that are being missed. There seems to be this theme going on at the moment, doesn't it? All the penalties seem to be missed. There's not many have been scored. So it does seem strange. But obviously America have won comfortably, as we kind of thought that they would. Spain won pretty comfortably, as we thought they would. So the usual suspects have started well. But I mean, and Andrea, so far, then what have you made of the World Cup? We're sort of 3 days in. There's been a lot of games played, 5 or 6, 7 games already, and it's been good to watch, but it hasn't really caught fire yet, has it? The tournament.
This is difficult. It's far away. It's the kickoff times are not not the best for us in Europe, so it's difficult to get this excitement, this atmosphere as we had last year. But the matches so far, I think it's a really good level, and you can see that these small teams, these outsiders, they are a lot better than we expected, at least than I expected. I wouldn't have said that Haiti plays so well or others. It's no longer the big and the small teams. These outsiders, these small teams, they fight with everything, with their heart on the pitch, and that's good to see. And of course, we have seen performance from USA, from Japan, and Spain. That I would say these 3 teams they set their marks, and these are the first 3 really favorites for the title after the first matches, and the other big teams are struggling.
Yeah, and we haven't seen some of them yet. Obviously, Holland and Sweden are playing tomorrow. I think they are, aren't they? So we're going to get a look at them. So,
France, Germany.
France, Germany, exactly. So we've still got a few of the big guns still to play, haven't we? But yeah, Brazil, So there's a lot of big teams in there, isn't there? When you look through that list there, it makes you think, our chances of winning it don't seem that great at this moment in time. But tournament football, anything can happen, as we know. But I mean, you're right about the kickoff times. It isn't suited to us in Europe at all, is it? Unfortunately, I think is there not games start like 3 o'clock in the morning or something tomorrow? It's like, who's going to get up at 3 o'clock on a Sunday to watch a World Cup game? I mean, unless England were playing, obviously we would. But I certainly don't fancy getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Sweden against whoever they're playing. Even though I'd like to watch Sweden play, I'll have to catch the highlights. Later on. I mean,
we might manage it, which is actually 6 o'clock, but even that's still early.
No, there is one game that's at 3 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? I'm sure there is.
I don't know. But they vary because the time zones, because like Western Australia is 8 hours behind, and then you go further east, the more it is. So
there's some strange kickoff times. But anyway, we just have to get used to it. I mean, what have you made of the World Cup so far? I know it's still quite early days, but I've quite enjoyed it, what I've seen of it. But it's not really grabbed my real attention yet and excitement yet, has it? Even the England game was a bit of a damp squib in many ways.
Yeah, it was a damp squib, and a lot of the games I felt are going with 1-0, and so the only biggest winning 5-0, and that was today with Japan and USA saying, it's all. I thought after they put 13 and past 2, was it Thailand in the last one? in the last World Cup. I thought,
Yeah.
they did actually well. They saved the penalty from Alex Morgan, gave something to shout about. That was good. And it has been a little bit of a slow burner, but the first day I thought was really good when New Zealand finally got their first win. A really disappointing Norway team as well, and Australia beat Ireland. Great to see Steph Cadley holding a nerve and planting that penalty in top corner. That was a great moment as well for Australia. Ireland played well. Ireland were excellent. I think they were lucky not to get a point out of the game.
They were very good. Yeah.
Penalty itself, you can see why it's given, but I thought it was a little bit soft. But then again, what your guys take just out of interest on the fact that they now go to the pitch side? I think it's quite good that the referees actually let the whole crowd know of the video.
Yes.
I think that's pretty cool, actually. I'm a fan of that.
What I would like though is rather than just sort of say it's a penalty. Yeah, we know it's a penalty. Why is it a penalty? That's what they should tell us, shouldn't they? How did they come to that decision? It was a foul by this player on that player, or whatever it is. Explain the decision. Don't just tell us what it is. We know. You point to the spot. We can see it's a penalty. Don't just tell us it's a penalty. Don't just tell us it's a red card. Tell us why. Tell us why you've reached that decision. That's what I'd like to see. Otherwise,
I think they did that in the
Americanization of it, isn't it? It's just making it into TV rather than actually giving us anything that we need from it. It's just, why are they announcing it without really telling us anything? It's pointless. It's like saying, the next train on platform 2. That's all it is. It's just announcing what's happening. We can clearly see what it is. Just tell us why. Why is it a penalty, referee? Why? How did you reach that decision? That's what I want to say. But it's something different, and maybe it will evolve as it goes on. And maybe
I think they do show the reasoning. They show the technology with the decisions being made, like they did in. I don't know if you saw in the Nigeria-Canada game, why they decided to send off the Nigeria player in. That was a big decision. I saw they do announce it. They let the crowd know. I know it's a bit. I wish they maybe.
All they said was a red card for serious foul play. Yeah, we know that's what it's for. But tell us how you got to that decision.
Big screen.
I mean, that one was quite an obvious one, wasn't it? Anyway, that was obvious. But some of the penalties and stuff like that,
But no, I agree. Spain have been no impressive. Japan laid down the mark of USA, and we all knew that how good Sophia Smith is going to be, and she only underlined that today as well. I think. Whoever she comes to, I don't have a horrible feeling, but I know she did link a lot with Chelsea. We won't go there at the moment, but it'd be nice if she went somewhere else, if she did decide to come to WSL. But other than that, other than those teams, it has been a bit of a slow burner 3 days in, but I think it will still, it will catch fire eventually. There have been a lot of very tight games, and as we've seen with the invention of the pitch side, or however you think about it, with the referee announcing the decision pitch side, and I mean the debutants have done pretty well. With Haiti, I thought Philippines were impressive against Switzerland. So it is quite tight. It just goes to show that it's there's no mismatches anymore not just in the women There's no more golfing class between some of the teams you would expect to blow other teams away, see a major tournament, other major tournaments. So it's been really interesting, but it will eventually, with the big guns still to come, catch fire. And what's interesting as well, Gabby Logan came up on this with an incredible stat so far that all the games so far have either been drawn or 1-0, which you don't see very often. So there you go.
Yeah, both teams haven't scored in any games so far. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, it is strange. I say this far in, we're only on day 3, but there's been a lot of games played. So yeah, I mean, I was a little bit worried because obviously there's more teams competing in this World Cup and more minnows, if you like, or so-called minnows. And I was worried that. Yeah, and I was worried that we were going to get some big scores, and it's not good for women's football, is it, when you're getting 8-0 and 10-0 and that kind of stuff. So I was a bit worried that was going to happen. So far, it hasn't done really. I know there was that 5-0 today, but there hasn't been too many of them, and hopefully there won't be, because you're right, the minnows have done really well. They look a lot better than they did at the previous World Cup. So that's a good sign. That means that the game is improving everywhere in the world, isn't it? It's getting better. It's getting better. And that's good for the sport in general. So, yeah, it's been good to see. Let's hope it does continue, because as much as I'd like to see England win 8-0 again against somebody like in the Euros, we don't want to see too many 8-0s, do we, and stuff like that. No, it's not good for this game, is it, at World Cup particularly. So, let's hope that it stays like that. To be good. Obviously, Terry's getting into the Arsenal players. He said, I thought Maritz had a good game the other day, night or morning. Yeah, well, it was day, night or morning somewhere in the world. Watching it. No, she did play well. Yeah, she did have a good game. So there has been a good few of the Arsenal women have had stay in the tournament so far. Obviously, you mentioned Steph Catley there with that penalty. That was a fantastic penalty, by the way. Top corner. Wow.
Superb,
No goal in the world saved that today. So she had a good game. Caitlin Ford, I thought, played well in that game as well. I thought she had a good game, looked lively.
I thought Lucas played well when she came on against. I did sort of bits of Lucas looked good when she came against Canada, against Nigeria. Cool was pretty good. That's So,
Lucas did look good. Katarina Kool played well, I thought, for Denmark today when she was on. She had a decent game, so that hopefully she can have a good season coming up as well. We've got a few more to play. I mean, Russo, we've already mentioned, had a decent game. Unfortunate not to maybe score a goal or so. I mean, Andreas, what have you made of our girls so far in the tournament? Because I say a few have played so far and done pretty well.
Yeah. So far, all did well. And what's the best? We have no injuries so far.
So far,
that's the most important thing, that they all go to the tournament injury free. The first match for Australia is, of course, a highlight in the career for Steph and Caitlin. And I think we all cannot imagine how much that means for them to play in a home World Cup, in a home tournament, and for Steph to lead the team as captain for the first match, for the opening match. This must have been enormous and a boost for her self-confidence. And that's great. And for Australia, it was so important. I mean, missing the captain, missing Sam Kerr for the opener, and knowing this, just the day before, this was extremely difficult. And so I think Australia did very well, and Caitlin played well in the front line. She had to play a different role when Sam Kerr is there, or if Sam Kerr is not there. So the Australians, their win was deserved and great for Steph. I think she will be full of self-confidence for the next match. And Switzerland, yes, they had also a good performance. I was glad that Leah Walti was substituted after 75 minutes, because she hadn't played for many weeks, for months, and then playing a competitive match at the World Cup. I was concerned that she would have to play 90 minutes. Besides the danger of getting another injury, it's just too much. Or don't overplay her. Give her time to find back in competitive match competitions, and so it's good. And Noel was booked for really nothing. If this is a yellow card, then we have 20 yellow cards in every match. This was ridiculous situation. Who was playing from our girls? Catherine Kool. That's good that she get in the starting lineup for Denmark. This is also good for her self-confidence, and every minute she's playing on this level is good for her. She's 19 years young, and I expect a lot from her. She had a good start in the tournament. Who else was playing? Did I miss someone?
Lucas, I mentioned.
She came in as a sub, and I haven't seen anything from her in the extended highlights. So
no, it didn't show much.
Canada had not the best start in the tournament. Let's see. Totally disappointing is Norway again, but for English fans, you only have to say Hegerise.
I know. When I thought of it, I thought. Sorry, can I expand on that?
Yeah, of course.
No, I was thinking when I know after what she did with Beth at the Olympics, and now Frida's playing under, and you got all those world class players. You got CGH, you got Brighton, and just to name all those players that apply the trade at the top European clubs. And for them, Frida missed an unbelievable chance. Normally so clinical, should have got something out of that. But I don't know. When Norway appointed, I thought, are you sure they're making the right decision here after what she did with Beth? And if they go out early, there's going to be some pressure on her to keep her, maybe even keep her in a job, because I don't see her as that impressive a coach. If I'm being totally honest with you.
No, I agree. Obviously, we know that for ourselves. But I mean, they looked a team in a bit of disarray, didn't they, Norway?
A little
Again, they
bit,
were at the Euros last year. Obviously, we beat them 8-0 and they got knocked out, and they didn't look particularly in harmony, did they? The other day, and yeah, Frida, I thought, had a poor game for her. You expect more from Frida. We know how great she is, and I thought she was disappointing. She got taken off, and she didn't have a great game, did she? Which was a shame. But and of course, the other one, I suppose, Katie McCabe, who seemed to spend the whole game in the Ireland-Australia game kicking everybody. But what else do you expect? Staying there, isn't it? She decided
but she was not booked.
But
in the WFO she gets booked for like sneezing, but she didn't get booked at all, and she kicked everybody. I mean, her and Hayley Rasso had a bit of a game, didn't they, between the two of them there?
Ireland played well in that. To be fair, they were a bit unlucky. They played very well. Really unlucky, actually. Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw the draw. Sorry, go on. Sorry, what?
They probably deserved a draw, Ireland.
They did. Australia were not the same without Sam Kerr, but they'll have her back. She won't play in the Nigeria game, but she'll play in the final game against Canada, I think, isn't it? Yeah, but yeah, I don't know if you saw earlier as well. Funnily enough, Katie McCabe used to be in a relationship with her teammate Risha Littlejohn, didn't she? And apparently, because Ford was pictured with. Caitlin Ford was pictured with both Jordan Nobbs and Katie McCabe in a photo. Yeah. She refused to shake her hand, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. There you go.
Yeah, I saw the video of that. I thought that was a little bit. It's not something you see very often happening in women's football, is it? And that seemed to be. I think there maybe is more to that than we maybe know about. I think there does seem to be some sort of issue there between those two in particular. But yeah, I mean that was quite a feisty game all round, actually, wasn't it? As it turned out, and it was. I quite enjoyed it, actually. It was a good game to watch, but yeah, it was quite feisty, wasn't it? And we know what Katie's like. She likes to get involved and get stuck in the tackles and stuff like that. And she did that.
Anyway, looking forward to seeing how Victoria and Stina get on tomorrow. That'll be good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Sweden play, because obviously we've got 3 players in the Sweden squad, haven't we?
Also, Lena, Lena,
Lena Herzig, Amanda, our new signing, and
Amanda, of course, yes. Yeah.
We'd be looking forward to seeing them. I don't know whether Lena Herzig will start. Probably not. If we're honest, but she might come on and have some impact. So yeah, I mean, there's still a few Arsenal players still to play. Yeah, Victoria playing for the Netherlands is going to be exciting, because she had a great season for us, didn't she? When we signed her, she did really well. So looking forward to seeing how she gets on. Obviously disappointing that Viv's not there. We so used to seeing Viv when we watch Holland. But I suppose it's just unfortunate, isn't it? So
DVD, I still wish DVD all the best, because it was a great 7 for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Jill as well, who's now obviously gone to Man City, but we won't talk about that. I know Harry still likes Jill, but we won't talk about her too much. But she's got the Man City, so there's a lot. I mean, I've always liked the Dutch anyway, the men and the women's team. I just like the way they play football. They've always had some great players, and Arsenal have had a lot of links with Dutch players. So I like to see Holland do well. I don't think they're going to challenge for this World Cup, if I'm honest. I don't think they're as good as they were, unfortunately. I don't think Sweden are as good as they were either. Both could get to the knockout stage and maybe get to the last 16 or quarterfinals, but I don't think either of those two look as though they can really challenge to win it. I don't think, but we'll see. They've not played yet. Let's wait and see how they get on. We'll play their first game tomorrow and see how they get on. But yeah, there's still a lot of Arsenal interest in the competition, so we'll be looking forward to seeing obviously how our girls get on as well for their various nations. And now we can kind of relax a little bit until Friday when we play Denmark. It's going to be tense, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, Andreas, Germany haven't kicked off yet. Are you looking forward to how they might get on in this World Cup? Because they've got a chance, haven't they, of going all the way?
Yeah, they will start on Monday, the tournament against Morocco. And it's not clear whether Hegering and Oberdorf can start. I'm sure that Oberdorf will start, and maybe Marina Hegering will be rested. It's another match. One of the big teams, Germany against an outsider, the small Morocco. Let's see. I mean, Germany had their problems against Vietnam. They lost against Zambia, and look what Zambia did in their first match. So Germany has to improve, and I'm not sure, but I think normally they should beat Morocco.
Yeah, they should. Of course, they should. and hopefully they'll. We know what the Germans are like in tournaments. They tend to, more often than not, they tend to turn up, don't they, when they need to and get the result. So I wouldn't be surprised if they still have a great tournament, even though they've not come into it. A bit like England haven't come into it in the greatest of form, but I'm sure that they'll end up doing okay in the end. Terry says there, John Terry all over again. Yeah, there was a
with a handshake.
Yeah, the
Wade
thing.
Bridge. Yeah, oh God, yeah, Wade Bridge. Yeah.
It was a bit like that, wasn't it? That's what everybody was talking about, wasn't it, when we saw it? But yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a similar kind of situation, maybe. But we don't know what's gone on with that. But obviously, there's something's happened there that we don't really know about, and we'll let them get on with it, I suppose. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange incident, I guess, wasn't it? But yeah, I mean, so the tournament now it's in full swing, isn't it? And it's yeah, the kickoff times aren't helping me. I've got to be honest. I don't, we'd prefer the games to be of an evening, wouldn't we? When we can all watch them and get that excited. It's not ideal when the games are kicking off early in the morning when. Even if you're up and you watch them, you can't get that same excitement because it's so early in the morning, isn't it? And it's you're watching it, you might then go to work afterwards, that kind of stuff. I mean, Friday's going to be tough because it's at 9:30 kickoff, isn't it, on a Friday? So it's not even, it's right in the middle of work time, isn't it? So it's a bit of a terrible time to be playing, but what can you do? Just have to get on with it and. Just hope England get the result. I won't be able to watch that game live, probably. I mean, I might have it on in the background. I'll be working at home on Friday, but I might have it on in the background maybe and see. But yeah, it's not ideal. But what can you do?
No.
Ultimately, we just have to hope England get the result, and that's what we want to see, don't we? We want to see England winning the group and progressing as far as we can in the tournament.
Absolutely.
It wasn't today. Didn't fill me with a lot of optimism. I've got to say, even last year, the Austria game at Old Trafford. I mean, me and Paula went to that game. It wasn't the greatest performance, but after the game, there was still everybody was quite upbeat. The fans were upbeat. I think the players were fairly upbeat because they'd won the game at home, and I don't know. It just this win today felt. I don't have that same feeling. I didn't feel upbeat about it. I felt a little bit. Oh my God, that's not great. We don't look as at this point. We don't look as though we can win the World Cup, do we? I don't feel that. I don't. At this moment in time, it's only one game, I know, and we can get better. And I don't want to be too negative about it because we know we got the win. We got 3 points. What more can you do? Win your game. That's it.
Yeah.
But that performance I didn't come away from that game thinking excited about how well we might do, like I was last year. That's not the same feeling, and that's to do with the way that we played. We were very flat. We had a few players out of form, and it's not quite working as we hoped it will. But there's plenty of games left. Hopefully we can get it right. We can, hopefully Friday we'll play better against Denmark, get the result that we need, and then we can relax a little bit more going into that last game against China, and maybe that's when we can start to play better football and we'll start to flow. Maybe, I don't know, but I suppose the first game's always difficult. Your first game, isn't it? But we haven't got a lot of pressure coming in as European champions. We know we've got key players missing, and it was always going to be tough. So. We got it out of the way. We got it done, and that's what we had to do, really. Terry says, Richard working from home and ain't watching the game. No, I didn't say I wasn't watching the game. I said I might have it on in the background. But obviously, when you're working, you've got to work from home. Otherwise, you've got to work as well. But I might have it a little screen up somewhere with it on somewhere that I might have it in the background.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. But yeah, so. It's here. It's up and running. England have got 3 points. We are joint top of a group, which is fine. In fact, funny enough, in the Euros, we won our game 1-0, and then the other game finished 1-0, didn't it, as well? So we were in a similar situation. Was it Norway?
Well, I think Austria won their first game 2-0 that time, but I can't remember.
It was 2-0. Was it 2-0? Was it 1-0? I can't remember that.
Oh, I don't remember. To be fair.
Actually, it might have been 2-0. But anyway, we are joint top of the group with Denmark, who we play on Friday. So it's all up and running. It's all happening. And we're looking forward to what hopefully will be better from England going forward in the tournament. That's all we can hope for, because I say tonight wasn't the best game, was it? Let's be honest. But we got the job done. We got the job done.
Yeah.
And that's all we can hope for. Go on, Andres.
Just think Norway and Canada would be happy to have the 3 points. And they would say, never mind, not playing well, but 3 points. Yeah. They would be happy to be in our position. So we should think positive. And once again, last year against Austria, we only scored 1 goal, and this was a goal when the ball was 2 or 3 centimeters behind the line. It was not such a clear goal, and we started the run with the 8-0 against Norway in the second match. So let's hope and trust for Friday. Maybe we start the tournament against Denmark, not with an 8-0, but with a win and with a better performance. When the pressure from the first match, from must win the first match, is now back, is now not on their shoulders. Let's see.
Yeah. No, you're right, and I suppose when you look at it that way, at least the goal today went actually into the net, didn't it? The net actually rippled, whereas the Austria game, it didn't go in the net, did it? It got cleared away. So I suppose at least it was more of a goal.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, it went into the goal, didn't it? So maybe that's more of a positive than the goal against Austria. But no, I mean, you're right, and we can't read too much into the. And I think ordinarily the first game I wouldn't have been particularly that worried about this performance had we been on the back of some better performances coming into it, but because those performances have been a little bit off what we expect, and then this performance was the same, it's almost got me worried a little bit more than this. It's not so much this performance on its own. I think the first game of any tournament is tough to win. You've got to win it, and you know it's never easy. But it's just the performance from tonight was more of a continuation, as was mentioned before, since that second half against Brazil. Since then onwards, it's a continuation of that type of performance, isn't it? Which is a worry because we're not scoring goals. We're not. Yeah, we had a lot of opportunities. There were a lot of shots on goal, but we're lacking some sort of belief or conviction in front of goal, aren't we? That we need. You know, if we're going to go far in the tournament, because we've already seen some good teams that play, haven't we? We've seen some good performances from some teams, and we will need to be better if we're going to beat any of those teams if we play them in the knockout stage. So, but we need to get through first. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We're not guaranteed getting through the group yet. We've started with 3 points, which is great. We're in a good position, but we need to follow it up on Friday with a win, as you said, Andreas. And maybe that might be what kickstarts everything. If we play well against Denmark, get a couple of goals, win fairly comfortably, maybe that might be what we need to really kick on then. And as you said, the Norway game last year was exactly the same, wasn't it? You know, we started off slowly in that game, didn't we, for 20 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever it was. Norway was a better team. We got a goal, which was a penalty as well, wasn't it? Funnily enough, the first goal in the Norway game was a penalty, and then we went on and we know what happened after that. So let's look at the positives. So that's a good point from Andreas. He's made us feel more positive now, which is good. Because I was feeling a little bit down in the dumps just because.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, it's fine. We'll get better.
Anyway, Terry says, do you think the drop in our form has something to do with our girls playing too much football in the last 2 years? Well, that is a very good point. A lot of those players that Millie Bright's had a long injury, come back, just played. That was our first game, wasn't it, for a long time, our first full game. And maybe that is a reason. Are our girls playing more football than the other teams? I don't know. Are we? Maybe. I don't know. That's something to look at, isn't it? Is that the reason? Is it tiredness? Yeah. Has it caught up with us? As all that from the Euros last year and afterwards and winning the Finalissimo and all that kind of stuff, has it all caught up with us, maybe? Is it just too much? Maybe you're right. Maybe this World Cup. Don't forget, World Cup's normally 2 years after a Euro. This one's a year after.
Yeah, that's very true. Very
come
true.
at the wrong time, and maybe we've needed a rest. Maybe we needed a rest this summer and have a World Cup next summer, and maybe we would have done well. But we'll see what happens. We won't really know, will we, until the tournament's finished, and then we can maybe look back on it and say, yes, maybe they did play too much football. Some of them players have done. There's no doubt. Some of them got injured on the back of it. Mark sees in the chat, he says, I'm off to the boozer. The lads game be Man U starts there. The United game, the friendly in America, which would probably be quite good, wouldn't it? And Mark C says, good bit today. Lads, no, thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the game later as well. I'll see if I can watch that somewhere. I'm sure there's some stream somewhere.
Arsenal.com.
I'm not paying for it, am I? I'm not paying to watch the friendly.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's not free.
I thought Arsenal.com. Oh, it's not. Oh, I thought because for the women's game.
No, you've got to pay. Apparently, somebody.
So I thought if you remember, you had the.
No, you've got to pay. Someone said it's free on Man United TV, apparently. I don't know if
I think it is.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anyway.
who's going to pay Arsenal to watch it when you can watch it for free?
No,
on
I
Man
thought if
United?
you was a member, you could log in and watch it, but no, I was wrong.
No.
Okay.
You have to pay on. If Man United is free, then obviously I don't know why anybody would pay to watch it on the Arsenal channel when you can watch it on Man U. What difference does it make? You can watch it for free. I don't care when I watch it. If you want to watch the game, watch it for free if you can. Mark says, even though it's pre-season, I hope we stick one on. Yeah, of course we do. We want to beat them, don't we? Mark C says might be on ESPN. So yeah, I think it is on ESPN as well.
We don't get ESPN in this country. We don't get ESPN in this country anymore.
If you've got certain gadgets, you can get it. So you can get it actually. But anyway, we'll see. I'll find it somewhere, I'm sure. Terry says, that's really Mark. This ain't no friendly. Well, I mean, it is a friendly, but it's not a friendly because it's against Man U and it want to win. So yeah, I'm sure we'll all be watching anyway. At least it's not at stupid o'clock in the morning like the other game was the other night. So I didn't watch that one.
Speaking of America, but no, it was a good. Yeah, anyway, it was a good performance. I think the squad is looking in good shape. But as I said, but one thing I thought, Ray, I don't know if you saw, but a highlight shows. I don't know. I know they don't tend to have. I don't know whether it's to do with the travel restrictions, but if you watch the highlights, they're only like 25 minutes. I thought just give a coverage a bit more. I know some extend the highlights maybe 1 hour, but maybe they're not allowed. I don't know if it's to do with the restrictions, but they only have somebody on providing background on the analysis and the games. Not really analysis, but when you watch the highlights, they only have somebody in the background talking and introducing you to the table, showing you the tables of the game. So I don't know if that's to do with geographical restrictions, but I think the highlight shows were a little bit more extended.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was thinking that yesterday actually, because yesterday was the first one that I actually watched because I watched the games on before that. So I watched the highlights program yesterday, and I did think they rushed through it all. And I don't like over-analysing that you get on Sky when it's on for 4 hours. You don't need all that. But I thought they rushed through it and I did tonight as well. I watched it tonight at 7 o'clock, and they rushed through that as well. I thought it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I would like a little bit more. I think you're right, and I don't know if there's a reason why they're cramming it all into half an hour. It should be maybe 45 minutes or an hour, shouldn't it? Especially when there's 4 or 5 games on in one day. They should make it an hour and actually give us some proper coverage. Deserves proper coverage. If a Man's World Cup was on, you guaranteed they'd have an hour program.
Oh yeah,
evening, wouldn't they? They wouldn't scram into half an hour.
No, that's fair
point. I don't know why they're doing that. It's quite annoying. I agree with you there. Yeah, that's. I would like to see a little bit more, not over the top, but just a little bit more. Maybe spread it out over an hour. I'd like to see that. That would be better, wouldn't it? I don't know really. Terry says a Sportech Pro. There you go. You see, there's loads of places to watch it, so I'm sure we'll be able to watch it anyway, won't we? Which is good.
I don't know.
Going to go to the pub and watch it, which is probably a nice option as well, isn't it? I don't know if you better watch it in Dublin, will you, Andreas? Will you be able to watch it there? Do you think?
Yeah. The Women's World Cup is on BBC here, and I watched the highlights then on I think ITV and The Zone, and so I try to see as much as possible, but of course I don't watch live in the morning because I want to go around in the city, and next week I have to work again, so it's also the highlights again. I set my VPN to see highlights on BBC or something else. That's the problem.
It's a shame, yeah. It is a shame. I mean, what can we do? It's just where the time. We can't expect them to play at 4 o'clock in the morning in Australia just so we can watch it. Really. I mean, it'd be nice if they did, but we have to suffer what we have to suffer and watch what we can. And it is going to be a lot of highlights, which is why I think the highlights in this World Cup are so important. Because most people aren't going to be able to watch the games live. So they've got to give us more. They've got to give us better highlights, haven't they? They really do need to. And it is something, and hopefully as the tournament goes on, they'll start to look at it. I don't know. But if England are playing like today and they scrammed it into half an hour, they're not going to show an hour of other teams playing, are they? So I don't know what's going on with it. It's not great. I agree. The coverage has not been great. But anyway, what can you do? It is what it is. They're not going to change it now, probably. We're just going to have to watch what we can and enjoy what we can of it, which I'm sure we will, what we can see of it. So I don't know. Is there a game at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning? I might be up and watch that.
It's 6 o'clock for Sweden, South Africa, 8:30 for Netherlands, Portugal, and then France against Jamaica is at 11.
Is it? I might watch that one then. I might watch the France game at 11. I'm not getting up early and watching them. I just don't.
No, that'll be interesting. Another point I raised, with Spain, I thought in the background, no one's really talked about a lot, but Spain in the background, what they've been through with all their pay issues and refusing to pay for their coach. Similarly with France as well, with the sacking of Corinne Diacre and all the Wendy Renard refusing to play for. It'll be interesting to see how their new male coach Renard does tomorrow as well. They never ruled them out, but I think they always tend to go deep at major tournaments, but never really like got past the quarterfinal, semi-final stage. So yeah, that'll be interesting. And interestingly, when I was watching the preview show the other day, a lot of the there was a panel of 4 journalists, and they actually thought, Germany will be the team to beat. So that'll be interesting to see how they go on. But the tournament still will catch fire, I think, as the games go along. You see, yeah.
Yeah, I know it definitely will. Yeah, I mean, I know it is going to be difficult because of the time of the games, really. But yeah, I think it will. It's going to grow and grow as it goes along. I think the first round of games generally in most tournaments are not always the greatest, are they? And then it gets better and better. The knockouts, as we said before, is when it really starts, isn't it? Because every single game is so important. You have to win or you're out. So, but yeah, there's lots to look forward to. It's been a good start to the World Cup. It's been decent. It just hasn't quite sort of set fire yet, but it will do, I'm sure. And hopefully England will as well, because it was a slow start from England, which kind of maybe summed up the World Cup a little bit to a certain degree. But we're enjoying it. It's nice to have football on in the summer, isn't it? And it's something different to watch. You know, it's nice to have some football on. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and we just have to enjoy what we can. And yeah, let's hope England play better on Friday. That's what we're going to be hoping for, and that we can really get into this tournament and go a long way into it and see where we are. But yeah, 2 or 3 players need to step up their game, I think, in the next couple of games and really get their form back to what we know they're capable of. And if they do that, we'll have a great chance. And if they don't, then make some changes. Serena might have to change her team. I know she doesn't want to, but she might have to if this carries on. Some of these players in the form that they're in. So what we'll try and do is then, I mean, I know England aren't playing until Friday. I mean, we will. It might be worth maybe having a show Friday evening, mightn't it, to talk about the England game, because I think that's probably a good idea to do that if you guys are around. Maybe do our usual 7:30. I'll have to see what time the highlights are first, actually. But yeah, we'll do a show Friday for England. Maybe one other show during the week to maybe look at some of the Arsenal women, how they've been getting on. Maybe we can look at that as well. Maybe one night in a week, maybe Tuesday or something like that. Maybe get a show on. And have a look at some of the other games that's gone on, because we want to give. I know it's difficult with this World Cup. It's not the same as a kick-off at normal time, but we want to give it as much coverage as we can, and we'll try and do a few bits and bobs. We'll definitely be back Friday for a look back on the England game anyway, definitely, because it's a big game now, and it's a really, really important game. So that's that then. Week 1, day 3 of the World Cup. We've been seeing some good football, some good goals, and England have won, which is good. And now that we've got the rest of the weekend, we've got some other big teams to enjoy. So we said Sweden and Netherlands and France, and then on Monday it's Germany, of course, as Andreas said. So we'll be looking forward to all of those games. Terry says, Richard, Andreas, and Amar, great to have you back, and come on, you England Lionesses. Indeed, yeah. We hope they'll get better. So, Andreas, thank you very much for joining us from Dublin. It's been a different background, but it's good to see you. Are you enjoying the show?
Yeah, of course. As I said, I try everything to be in the show, and I'm glad to discuss everything with you. It's always a pleasure for me. Thank you.
No worries at all. It's always great to have you on. And Amar as well. You got your sound sorted out in the end, which was good. After a bit like England, shaky start, and you got better. So maybe that's the sign of things to come.
Oh, well, I wasn't fast out of the blocks, but yeah, no, and then I'm trying to battle this light as well, which is flickering constantly in my bedroom as well. But at least it seems to be brighter than some of the other lights and I have in this, whatever I've done in the past. But yeah, no, it was good. I got the sound sorted. It's good to have it back. And yeah, although it might be tricky to make it on Friday because I'm working late, but I could try to send some videos in and see. I'll give you my thoughts, and we'll see how it goes. But anyway, yeah, it's good to have it back, and we look forward to the next one. Indeed, yeah, it should be good.
We will, and I say, in a week or so's time, or maybe a couple of weeks' time, we are going to have Pete Drake on the show as well. He does our music.
Oh, is it? Oh, that'd be good, yeah.
Pete Drake coming on the show. Looking forward to seeing him. He's going to give us his thoughts, obviously, on the women's football, and also some of his music as well, which we love on this channel anyway. And I say, he's got a new song out for the World Cup. It's really, really good. It's called, I can't remember what it's called now, Wakato to Wellington or something, and it's really, really good. And it is the bit of music that we play on the new introduction to the show. So there is a link down in the description, so you can listen to that and get that as well, because it's definitely worth it, because it's a great little tune. He does write some good tunes as Pete Drake, so I'm looking forward to having him on, and we can have a little chat to him about all that. That'll be coming up soon as well. So yeah, England have won. 1-0. We'll take a 1-0. 1-0 to the England. We'll have a bit of that for now. And let's hope that we've got some better performances to come, because we're going to need them if we're going to progress. And we all look forward to Friday, a big game, difficult game. Can England get that second win and top the group and hopefully go on and get into that last 16? We'll see. But yeah, England are up and running, 3 points on the board. We'll take that. We'll move forward. So thank you to all you guys for watching. Don't forget to give us a like. Thanks to Andreas all the way from Dublin, and Amar from his bedroom as normal. And we will see you very soon. Hopefully one night in the week, but if not, we'll definitely be a Friday to look back on the England game. We'll see you soon, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully it stops raining soon and we can enjoy some outside time in the summer, but we'll see. But we'll see you very soon. Come on, England. Let's do this.
Come on, England.
See you later, guys.
Yeah. Bye.
Lionesses, you come so far, but don't forget who you are. Your roots are yours, but also ours. Giving hope to rising stars. Lionesses, here we go.